What's going on, guys? Mark Canelio here, and we are doing another podcast for you guys today. This one is on supplementation. Say that really quick, right? Supplementation, guys.
It's not that hard.
I'm with the. It's not that hard.
Yeah, it's not that hard.
It's not hard. Anyway, trying to wake up, all right? I got the three wise asses over here. Well,
Somebody needs a monster.
two wise asses. Jed's cool. That's Jeff, Jed, and Jody. All right. So let's get started. Today we're going to start different. We're going to go with Jed today because Jed has a lot to talk about.
He can go on for hours.
He loves vitamins and supplements, so let's get it on.
So when I have an initial profile of supplements I like to use when starting somebody out, and it's basically just stuff that you need. I'm pretty much like if you're training yourself to be above average, you're going to have to supplement that way too. It's when it comes to protein intake, fiber, all that stuff. So the stuff that you see that I give people is stuff that you need but you can't get in an everyday diet, especially to drop body fat without going over and causing issues with that. So like with omega-3 and 6, that's something that a lot of people don't get these days. And they get a lot of 6 but not a lot of 3. They're supposed to be taking a balance because one's inflammatory, one's anti-inflammatory. They work together. When you take them in a proper ratio, a lot of really cool shit happens, especially when it comes to heart health, cholesterol, even skin tone. I've seen women's skin tone get better. And I think that's one of the biggest things that people overlook now, and they don't even realize they're not getting. Because when you get those in the proper ratios, you're now getting, because your body can't synthesize those fats. So now you're getting all the fats that you need in a day. So now your body has no reason to hold on to it. So it's like you wouldn't hold on to all your clothes like 3 years ago when you know you're going to go buy a bunch of new shit, right? So, but when you're not getting all the fats you need, your body's going to hold on to shit. So, people have those hard to get rid of areas like butt, thighs, midsection. We start taking that the omega stuff. And I use omega as my species because it's already pre-made together. I don't have to make it. But I noticed those areas go down a lot faster. But other than that, I used to not be a big fiber guy. I used to think, whatever, just eat, you'll go to the bathroom. But when I started using the Fiberlize, the species Fiberlize, that definitely is a game changer. When your system is functioning properly and everything's traveling through properly, you don't have to worry about things slowing down. If you're getting all backed up and stuff with food because you can't process it, you could be in a deficit and still not be losing any body fat or having issues because you're not processing everything and it's just slowing everything down. You want, when you're dieting, either to get big or get small, it doesn't matter. You have to have everything running efficiently. And because we're doing above average things with food and training and stuff, you need to make sure all that stuff's getting pushed through. And the Fiberlize definitely helps. I've taken other fiber supplements and it hasn't really done much, but that specific one has everything perfect. And
is that a blend of like insoluble fibers?
And I usually take it before I eat, wait about an hour, then I'll take 2 scoops before I go to bed. And I don't mix the 2 scoops together because it coagulates and you'll have to eat it with the shit with a spoon. But I'll just mix with a shot of water and do that twice, and I go to bed. And usually after you eat breakfast, you do your business, you're ready to start the day. That's probably one of my favorite supplements out there now. Other than that, vitamins, isolate protein for your post-workout, and usually an isolate protein and the high molecular weight but fast digesting carb like glycofuse, cyclodextrin.
Right.
What's the carbolin's okay. Something like that to mix with the protein. Because I know a lot of people don't do shakes now, but for post-workout, I'm still kind of hell-bent on using either a hydrolyzed or an isolate with one of those high molecular weight carbohydrates, because I think the faster you can lower the cortisol and recover, the better off you're, even if you're trying to lose body fat. I think people need to focus more on recovery even when trying to lose body fat, because if you're not recovered, the efficiency of the metabolism stuff's going to go to shit. And plus, if your muscle's still broken down, you need energy to burn off. It's going to take that because it's already broken down and ready because you haven't been recovering. So I still do the shakes after workout.
You don't ever get, like, when I would do the carb drinks with like protein shake, I would always end up having some kind of stomach thing. Have to go to it just comes through me. Toilet issue, like always. Like I could never combine a carbo drink with a protein.
What carb drink did you use?
There was a few different ones. I'm trying to remember the name of that one. It was
Viagra.
Yeah.
Oh, the Vitargo, yeah.
Vitargo was one.
And I guess it's a waxy maize starch.
That waxy maize, that was because there was another brand that I used the same type of product, waxy maize, and it would just upset my stomach. It just never agreed with me.
The glycofuse being a highly branched cyclic dextrin, it's like basically when you mix it, unlike the Vitargo, it looks like Gatorade. Like it's literally soluble. It's one of the best digesting carbohydrates. You know, but some people don't have a problem with waxy maize.
Yeah, some people. I know some people don't.
There's something up with with some of the older versions that would be made from corn and stuff. And here in Hawaii, we got a lot of Asians and shit. And they never ate corn,
right?
So when they drink that stuff, it doesn't agree with them.
Yeah.
So you got to look for stuff that's made out of more rice and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it could be as simple as changing the brand. But the glycofuse I don't have any issues with. That one or the Carbolytes from Species. But the Carbolytes from Species doesn't it's not as very water soluble. You have to keep shaking it stuff. Because I do intra-workout, so I want something that mixes and then you're done with it.
Yeah.
So glycofuse works better for me intra-workout. Aminos, I'm cool with. If you do intra-workout, I'm more using EAAs. I don't like just BCAAs. I don't think they do shit. They can prevent muscles from breaking down, but I don't see them doing much for building muscle. Right. But if you get the full profile of EAAs, that's a different story. You might as well go and get them all. It's not going to cost anything extra. I do prefer the fermented over just the ones they make out of horsehair, whatever the fuck they use. So, and honestly,
hair.
I don't think people
they use human hair.
Yeah, I don't think people even realize that they make those PCAs.
Like when you're like supercuts and you see them sweeping the floor into like this like vacuum. Getting donated to like something.
So
there's only
BCAAs, guys.
There's two companies that make them fermented. There's two or three that make them fermented, but
that's true. I know. That's why I don't think people know this.
No, just like Johnson's made from like pig hooves and stuff.
Hooves,
right? Cartilage and shit.
Yeah. That's crazy. So
I would go full spectrum EAAs in a product. The fermented ones, they're out long enough to where the prices are starting to go down. The once again, I'm a big Species guy, so I mean the Amino Evolve is very cost effective versus the Matt Porter one. So it's a lot more. His is a lot more expensive, and it's the same shit from what I've seen. So
for the intra.
For EAAs. If I'm going to go post-work, I'm just use protein.
Or post-work,
Now, I have used hydrolyzed protein intra-workout and like Pepto-Pro, but that shit's bitter.
Way expensive, too.
Yeah, but you can get you can go to TrueNutrition.com.
That's where I go. If you want the cheapest way to do all that stuff, because you can buy them all just separately, make your own flavors.
You can get completely 100% hydrolyzed whey, almost as good as amino acids, and get it flavored and put it with your carbs and drink that during your training.
I remember when they were just TrueProtein.com.
I remember that, too. Yeah, I used to purchase
they're on some intense muscle.
Yeah,
that guy. Who's the guy who started it?
Dante Trudell.
Yeah, I remember when he was first on there and he first started.
It was cool. It was a cool concept. It was a cool concept. Like you just go in there and like say how many grams this kind of protein is.
Pick the ones you want and make it. Yeah, it's pretty sick.
It's still that way.
It added up.
You can make your own intra workout. I did. I had my own.
Oh, you did.
The cyclic dextrin and protein.
Yeah, I still do that.
Yeah. I had it all make the Pepto Pro and the cyclic dextrin all in a tub, and they'll put the nutrition information, everything on there for you, and ship it to you. That's pretty cool.
Because I get the highly branched cyclic dextrin, and then I get the essential amino acid blend, and then I get citrulline malate and creatine.
Oh, you can build your own oatmeal packets and shit. You can get your own oatmeal stuff made. With you want frozen, you want freeze dried blueberries in it, all kinds of shit. It's crazy.
Well, here's one for you, man. So, there's people who think like supplements are kind of overrated, and you can get almost everything you need from eating if you eat properly. And so my question for you is, one, do you think that you can, and two, what is the percentage of, as far as performance gain, and just by adding supplements into your diet, like how much is that going to actually help you as compared to just somebody who has a well-balanced complete diet?
Well-balanced complete diet's essential. Like the supplements aren't going to do much for you until your diet and training is in check. All the stuff that the raw foundation of everything is going to be your diet and training. when you're trying to lose body fat and in a deficit and whatnot, you are going to have to supplement some stuff to make sure that it's done most efficiently. It's just,
what do we do? We remove fruits, we remove all kinds of things that are highly micronutrient dense.
Yes.
You know what I mean? When you're on a contest diet. So like if you're not supplementing, and not to mention that the produce of today doesn't have near the micronutrient count of is what it had just like 3 generations ago, because our soils are depleted. You know?
Yeah, I think by the person, like how much does one person need? If you're sitting on the couch not doing shit, no, you could go by with just eating normal. But if you're trying to be an athlete or you're trying to train and get to that next level, you're gonna have to fucking take the nutrients.
Perform at the highest level.
You have to supplement. Yep. You're gonna need more of something than what your food can provide. You're gonna need more of something than what an average person's gonna be. And it's just better to supplement.
Especially if you're on a restricted diet.
Yeah, right. But even getting bigger, if you try to get it all through food and you don't do it right, you miscalculate, or your metabolism's not up to par, you just get fat, and then you're heading downhill because now everything's slowing down because you got all this excess weight that isn't producing work, your metabolism and everything's slowing down, and your health goes to shit. So it's not, there's nothing wrong with supplementation. Like I think you should have to do it, but at the same time, if you're supplementing and you're spending all your money on that and eating like shit, you're not going to see anything from your supplements.
There you go.
Yeah,
and that goes as far as fucking legal, illegal, whatever.
Right.
If you're not eating and training right, you're not going to see shit from it.
Right. Because I think that's the problem. A lot of people think, I'll just take this stuff and it'll help me regardless of what I'm doing. Yeah. It's like, no, not always. You have to keep everything in check.
Yeah, when it comes to getting the supplements to get bigger after all this natural stuff or all the fiber and all that stuff's taken care of, you got to be careful because look into what you're buying. Because I know there's sometimes people put out supplements and they'll say, this is a new breakthrough. And you look at it and it's just like some L-arginine or some shit. And you're just like, that isn't, or that AAKG that was only proven to work in rats. So it hasn't even proved to work in humans as well as like glycocarn or what was the other one? The carnosine or what is for the pump?
Carnosine?
Yeah.
Carnosine,
Something like that was a lot better. So, and people will buy it just because there's a big dude on the bottle or it has some catchy name that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So, stick with the basics, especially like we were talking about creatine the other day. Like that's one of the only proven supplements.
It's the most scientifically proven supplement at every food supplement.
But everybody's like, it puts on water. Yeah, if you load with it, you don't need to load with it. If you take it like you're supposed to, you'll be fine.
That's right. And there's a lot of benefits to it, no doubt about it. Yeah.
But if you're limited on your budget, the food and training comes first.
Right.
A big one is pre-workouts. We can go on for that one.
Yeah, I don't like those anymore.
I don't care for them either, but a lot of people do.
I like non-stim because I want the pump and shit, but I don't. If I'm jacked out of my head, I can't fucking think straight. I'm ADD as it is. Yeah. So if I'm like wired going through the gym, like I'll forget to do shit and I won't think about stuff. But if I notice if I'm calm or I kind of feel like I'm too tired to train and I start training, my workouts are so much better because I'm focused on shit.
Right.
So I
get too hyped. This is the thing that I see in here in the gyms, and it drives me crazy.
Dry shooting it.
No, that is annoying because just mix it in water and drink it like a normal person. Yeah, but anyway,
it's not hardcore.
So a lot of people that are going to be going, I do that all the time.
It's not hardcore.
Whatever, to each his own, man. But my thing is like, there's guys who will come in here and they'll be like, I forgot my pre-workout. And they're like, their workout's ruined. Like literally, they're like, I don't know if I should go or not. Like they're debating, and I'm looking at them like, really?
You're a slim junkie then.
You can lift weights, dude.
Yeah.
Like I don't even use pre-workout. Just go lift, man. Hype up, Like these guys are like, I don't know.
You guys have seen Blood and Guts, right?
God.
Yeah. And what would Dorian needs to do for a workout? Like a cup of coffee.
Yeah. Right. Well, yeah. I mean, because it's the mental drive, right? It has nothing to do with the pre-workout. I mean, that gets you hyped up, but it's the mental drive.
But then again, he's a professional bodybuilder. All he did was eat, sleep, and train.
That's right.
He didn't have a full-time job where you busting your ass all day long, and then you come to the gym and you want to get a good workout. So I get it why people want to use like stimulants, And there was a time I was experimenting with them and everything. But as you get older, you become way more sensitive to it, and it's just like, now I feel like shit.
I can't even use them.
Yeah.
Even if I want to, I can't even use them.
Nootropics. Some of them start using nootropics now, like the brain
Love
powders.
nootropics.
Those ones are good. Those ones are good.
Increase your focus and shit. So it's all the good parts about being stemmed without being fucking stemmed.
Right. Right.
So
that's good.
I'm down for that.
Yeah, this excessive caffeine, forget about it.
Like that 5% one, the full as fuck. That is amazing. Like there's
It's
no,
called Full as Fuck?
yeah, there's no stems in it. Well, it's got stars on there, but you look at it.
Okay.
It's like all
So it's Full as Fuck.
Yeah.
Full as Fuck, star.
It's like overdose pump shit. So you take it, and I remember
Probably a lot of glycerol.
Yeah, and I would, which is something I actually think we should talk about. Well, after that,
Glycerol for like
the-
for triathlete training?
no, for like before you go out on stage, dry out.
No.
But
I've used it.
I've used vegetable glycerin before going out on stage.
that
Works
sweet
very
tasting
well.
gel, that shit's awesome.
Yeah,
I used to get it. You can get it at Target. I think it's in the pharmacy section or something. I used to get
you
it.
can, yeah.
But that Full as Fuck, when we would take it, like the pumps would fucking hurt off of that shit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I loved it. I'm like, this is what a pre-workout's supposed to be. You don't want to constrict all the blood flow. You want it to fucking
But that's what a lot
increase.
of people don't realize, because a lot of those stimulants and caffeine and stuff, they're vasoconstrictors.
Yeah.
You know, and then they mix it with these like pump,
Yeah,
vasodilators,
it's like
and I'm like, okay,
two
one's
opposites.
canceling the other one out. But then a lot of people think if you're not getting that stim, you know, that's why there's a lot of pre-workouts that are loaded with beta-alanine, you know, but beta-alanine has like very little performance enhancement, you know.
But beta alanine makes you.
But you get that feeling, oh my god, like like, this is working.
That's
like,
the same thing. Like some of these same people are coming in there, like, like oh, I'm my pre-workout, but then when they do, they're like, oh, it's kicking in.
Yeah, it's kicking in.
in.
Yeah, you can
I'm
feel
ready.
it.
Like my skin's crawling. My skin's crawling.
I feel like shit, but I'm ready to go.
I'm like, I tell you what, an easy pre-workout. Come here, slap you in the face. You'll wake up,
You
and you know what? It'll sting, and you'll get mad, and you'll want to lift some weights.
You ever watch
Right.
Charlie Muscles one about that?
No.
Slap City.
Oh, yeah. I like that.
He's just like, let's go. He's like,
You know,
it's like slow
I
mo.
never-
it's a little overdone, but I mean, there's some sense there.
I never
mean,
understood the shit with getting all fired up and slapping your face and walking around and like have to go up to the bar and reach up in the air. Either you can lift the fucking weight or you can't fucking do it. So get up and do it so the next person can do their set. I don't want you to do this goddamn ritual. Like you think your muscles are going to get 10% more stronger because you walked around and patted your chest and shit. Just fucking pick it up.
It's about 2.5%.
I hate that shit, dude. I know people got their little things.
Some people
they
get
do.
hyped up. Some people get hyped up.
When my guys start doing that, I'm like, dude, just fucking get it off the rack. Either you can do it or you can't. If you can't, then we got to go back to square one.
Yeah. You know.
Yeah. So I was sidetracked.
Well,
but I
that could be
just-
that could be a result of the stims that they're on.
Right. It could be a result
You get all
from
crazy,
too much
yeah.
caffeine, like you said, too much stems.
And then the problem with when you rely on stims like that, guess what? You become resistant to them. You know.
That's true.
You know, a lot of people don't understand how like caffeine actually works. You know, it's versus like something like an amphetamine. You know, like Adderall, which is 4 amphetamine salts. You know, but like, and that amphetamine is like a direct neural stimulant, right? It enters the synaptic or the parasympathetic neuron, and it actually like the way it works that amphetamines work is it pulls dopamine out of the little storage vessels, and then it floods the synaptic gap, which is the gap between the neurons with dopamine, and that's why like amphetamines give you that. Now, I'm not talking about methamphetamine,
That feeling.
but yeah,
That
like
good
instead of just that jittery caffeine, you know.
Right, it gives you more of a
Yeah,
feeling of
exactly.
well-being.
Where caffeine, the actual name is 1,3,7-trimethylxanthium, and having those 3 methylated carbon atoms to that xanthium molecule is actually what gives it a full liver bypass without any degradation of it. But caffeine works; it's an adenosine receptor agonist. Adenosine is part of the GABA cycle, and basically, adenosine is a neurotransmitter that brings you down. It relaxes you, helps you sleep. It's a vasodilator as well. But caffeine actually has a stronger binding affinity to those receptors, the adenosine receptor. And then the negative feedback loop that your body sees with so much adenosine floating around in the bloodstream unbound to the receptors, your body counteracts that by looking for homeostasis balance, and then all of a sudden it pumps its own adrenaline and norepinephrine and epinephrine. So caffeine is actually stimulating your own adrenal glands to release norepinephrine and adrenaline.
Yeah.
So that's the high you're getting.
Right.
Unlike amphetamine, which is a direct stimulant, caffeine is not a stimulant at all. It works in that pathway to get your body to produce its own stimulants.
Right.
But the problem there is the way your body counteracts all that happening, you know, with the adenosine not binding to the receptors, it creates new receptors. And it's doing it super fast. Like within hours, actually, you're getting new receptors being created for adenosine. And now all of a sudden, you're going to have a ton of these adenosine receptors, and you need more and more caffeine to occupy them to block the adenosine. And now when you come off of caffeine, you have so much adenosine receptors that you actually go down into a crash. You know, and then it'll take a while for your body to basically rid itself, apoptosis basically of those adenosine receptors, and then to balance back out again. That's how you get that caffeine,
that's why.
Yeah, balance and stimulant. Yeah. So if you abuse caffeine, you're going to screw your body up for a little while, and then you take a while to get it back.
So people get those withdrawals and all these different things.
Exactly.
So, well, since we're still on this topic, but with caffeine and stuff, and a lot of people always ask, what's the best fat burner? It's a fat burner. They love to use those two. It's fat burner. And, so I know all of you guys, you've used a little formula that you've combined. Supplements to target fat.
Lipolysis, which is the all-encompassing word for
lipolysis, guys. Right. Lipolysis. Sorry,
there's a 3-part process:
like this guy.
Mobilization, transportation, and oxidation.
Yeah.
So, in order for your body to burn its own stored body fat, it has to mobilize it out of the adipose tissue. And then I won't go into. There's a lot to that, but in basic, it has to mobilize it. And then the transportation that we're actually talking about is its transportation into the mitochondria cell before it goes through beta oxidation, So because all long-chain fatty acids or long-chain triglycerides, which is 95% of all the fats that we consume out of food and all that kind of stuff, have to be carried on the amino acid L-carnitine to get it through the cell membrane. Okay. Short-chain fatty acids, which are short-chain triglycerides and medium-chain triglycerides, and we can get into that as well too. They don't require L-carnitine. They immediately enter the mitochondria, But long-chain fatty acids, which is, like I said, 95% of all the fat that we consume, the saturated fats, polyunsaturated fats, the monounsaturated fats, they need that carrier, to get through. So that's the transportation. And so you can supplement with, and Jody mentioned that too, he likes that, using L-carnitine to help supplement that, And
so
then there's oxidation. Huh?
Oral L-carnitine?
Yeah, right. Very good. Thank you. Yeah, oral L-carnitine.
How much of it is it?
Very, very poor bioavailability, Unless you get...
It's higher if you do acetyl.
Unless you get the acetyl L-carnitine, which is about a 40% bioavailability.
Okay.
And then there's the injectable L-carnitine, but
most people aren't
going to inject it. Right. And it's not easy to get. That's 100% bioavailability.
Okay.
But and the same thing too. I put most of my ladies who don't like to inject on acetyl L-carnitine because and it's shown great benefits. Okay. Yeah. And then the third part is oxidation, right? And so how do we oxidate? Raise your heart rate. Stimulants oxidate. There's also thermogenesis, so there's certain supplements that raise your body temperature and all that kind of stuff.
What about yohimbine?
Yohimbine's a fat mobilizer. Yeah. And a particular fat mobilizer, which I very much like, it has to be the yohimbine hydrochloride. It has to be that alkaloid.
Right.
The yohimbine bark does not do shit.
There's a stingy out of your mind,
it does.
Two different ones. People get confused a lot of times. They see there's two different ones.
Right, exactly.
And they don't know which one.
Honestly, the guys in GNCs and stuff, they don't
know.
They don't even know.
So they'll still direct your client over to go grab the Yohimbi bark.
Right.
And then the person takes
because GNC doesn't sell Yohimbi hydrochloride.
Well, I've
never seen it.
Why is everything so fast? I'm just I don't understand wow.
Yeah.
We're looking at right now. Holy shit.
Dude, that shit with Adderall is ridiculous. I was reading somewhere where it kind of enhances the effects of it.
Really?
So I get prescribed Adderall, so I took them together. Dude, my mind was fucking blown.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. Yeah, it was a little too much. Yeah, a little too much.
But yohimbine is an alpha 2 adipose tissue agonist. So we have your body predominantly stores subcutaneous body fat in two particular. There's more, but the majority of it is in two particular. Your beta 2 agonist, adipose tissue agonist receptor sites, and your alpha 2.
Yeah,
and then your alpha 2 like your body holds on to that fat because about 6 to 9 times greater than the beta 2 receptor areas, Lipogenesis, which is the word for fat accumulating on the body, is systemic. So it happens equally throughout the body, Fat burning is systemic as well too, because wherever you have mitochondria is where, these things are going through the beta oxidation and all that, And then, but fat mobilization is not, right? Because of those alpha-2 adipose tissue sites, which are directly related to cortisol and hormonal levels, especially like estrogen and those kind of things. But it's necessary on especially females for childbirth, right? Because during the first, second, third trimester, actually, some of the nutrients that the baby brain development comes from is the fat in those particular alpha-2 adipose tissue sites. So there needs to be a degree of fat stored there,
Right.
And that's what has been my understanding of reading it, like how women tend to hold a lot of fat around their butts and hips and all that kind of stuff. And that's their adipose tissue sites. Men tend to hold it around their lower bellies and lower backs. That's our alpha-2, and up around our nipples too.
Right.
Right. Yeah. So yohimbine phenomenal for that, but it has to be taken correctly, right? So it's a fat mobilizer. So if you just take it throughout the day and you're not, if it's like particularly mobilizing fat and you're not oxidizing it, guess what? It goes right back into storage,
Right.
And then another thing about yohimbine that a lot of people don't get it right is the fact that it has to be done in a fasted state. Because insulin binds to those alpha-2 adipose tissue sites with a greater affinity, much greater affinity than yohimbine. So anytime there's insulin present, like a high amount of insulin, it's going to block yohimbine from binding to that site, turning on that receptor to mobilize that fat. So insulin is present every time you eat. You know what I mean? So until like blood sugar levels are at baseline, or where you're going to have where insulin's going to be down at a low level, that it won't affect yohimbine's action to mobilize fat. So that's why I would say like pre-fasted cardio or pre-fasted workout.
That's the way to go. Yeah. So so people have to wake up in the morning, kind of take it, go do their cardio.
Yeah, or if you just haven't eaten in 4 hours, if you're pretty insulin sensitive, that's enough to bring you down.
Midday too.
Yeah, you're not going to have an insulin, a high level of insulin.
That's good.
It's one of the things you got to worry about in the morning is glucagon, which is your liver's it's your liver's normal sugar levels. Like they call it the dawn syndrome, where you have all of a sudden you're flooded with if you wake up in the morning and you test your morning glucose levels like I used to do. I have dawn syndrome, so I'd be up there like 120, and I'm like, holy shit, fasted glucose levels 120, you're diabetic.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like what the hell, But then as soon as I eat one little thing, bam, I'm down into the 70s.
Oh.
That quick, and it's just because of glucagon, which, your liver produces a sugar to keep your blood sugars balanced during, fasted states, like when you're sleeping, and it kind of gets things moving in the morning, like it spikes it to get cortisol and everything that wakes you up. You know what I mean? So, So
that's interesting.
Yeah. So you may actually want to do, like, if you have that,
right,
eat a little, like a couple of nuts or something. Like fats usually do it for me.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or one hard-boiled egg or something, then take your yohimbine, and then you're way back down in the lower. And in fact, some people actually, it's not uncommon, shoot 1 IU of insulin, pre-cardio in the morning.
Just gotta know what you're doing with that stuff. Again, we don't suggest you do it,
but then yohimbine wouldn't work so great for that. You know what I mean? Because insulin blocks, so
that's always counteracting. So you gotta figure out what you want.
It's just another scenario you need to look at.
Yeah.